All right, so let's dive right into a big question. What happens after this life is over? Well, according to this really fascinating ancient Buddhist text, it's not just nothing, it's a reckoning. And that's exactly where our story kicks off today.
So, have you ever wondered what if you had to answer for every single choice you've ever made? That is the exact question we're going to dig into today, using a text called the Devadūtasutta. Now, that translates to the Discourse on the Divine Messengers. And trust me, it's a super powerful story all about accountability.
Okay, a vision of karma, the Buddha's cosmic perspective. So before we can really get into the whole divine messengers part, we got to get on the same page about the world this story is set in. We need to see things from the Buddhist perspective on action and, well, consequence. He basically said, just as a man with good eyes standing between two houses could see people entering and leaving, so I see beings passing away and being reborn according to their actions. You see, he taught that our actions, or kamma, as it's called in the text, are kind of like seeds. Every single thing we do on purpose, whether it's good or bad, plants a little seed that's going to grow into something later on. And that's what shapes our destiny. So you can see here, the destinies are based on actions. If you do good stuff, you might end up in the heavenly realms or the human realm. But if your actions are more harmful, you could end up in realms of suffering, like the ghost, animal, or even the hell realms. And for the story we're exploring today, we're going to follow a soul that ends up having to face the music in one of the toughest of these realms.
All right, Section 2, Before the King of Hell, the reckoning begins. So picture this. Someone who has lived, let's say, a pretty careless life passes away. The story says they're brought by these guardians of hell to stand before a really powerful judge. His name is King Yama.
And the charge against this person? Things like disrespecting their parents, ascetics, Brahmins, and not honoring the elders. But here's the interesting part. King Yama doesn't just slam down a gavel and issue a sentence. No, he's more like a mirror. He forces the person to look at their own life by asking about 5 warnings, universal warnings that he says everyone, and I mean everyone, gets a chance to see. And these are the 5 divine messengers, the warnings you are meant to see. You know, these are the big fundamental truths of life that are basically screaming at us to wake up. So King Yama begins his questioning. He asks, "Did you not see the first divine messenger who appeared among humans?" And this is what's so cool about this story. It takes something we all experience, something totally normal, and turns it into this profound cosmic warning sign. So what's the first messenger? It's a newborn baby. Think about it. We see a baby and we think of new life, right? But the text says it's also a reminder of how we all start out, totally helpless, totally dependent, and vulnerable. According to King Yama, that right there should be our very first wake-up call. And what does the person say? "I saw, Venerable Sir, but because of negligence, I was heedless." It's this recurring theme, right? Yeah, I saw it, but I didn't pay attention. I was careless. It's seeing something, but not really seeing it. And as we'll see, the second messenger is just as hard to mess. The questioning continues. Yama asks again, "Did you not see the second divine messenger who appeared among humans?" He's really driving the point home, presenting another one of those unavoidable truths of life that we all see, but, maybe we try really hard to ignore. And messenger number 2, it's old age. Seeing an old person maybe frail and using a cane. The text says this is a direct warning sign. Our use, our strength, it's not permanent. It's temporary for all of us. It's like a cosmic clock is ticking for every single person, no exceptions. Okay, so what's next? King Yama brings up the third messenger, another one that hits close to home for everyone. "Did you not see the third divine messenger who appeared among humans?" He's pointing to another part of the human condition that is, well, pretty much inescapable. The third messenger is sickness. When we see someone really, really sick, dependent on others for everything, it's supposed to be a direct message to us. It's a reminder that our bodies are fragile, that our health isn't guaranteed. It really makes you think about how fast everything can just change. All right, so the first 3 were about the natural course of life, but for the fourth one, there's a shift. Yama asks, "Did you not see the fourth divine messenger who appeared among humans?" And this one moves away from nature and looks at the direct consequences of what people do. The fourth messenger is seeing a criminal getting punished for what they did. This is like a real-world demonstration of karma, right? It's a super clear warning sign. If you do harmful things, there will be painful consequences, maybe from our laws in this life or from cosmic laws in the next. And that brings us to the last one,
King Yama asks, "Did you not see the fifth divine messenger who appeared among humans?" This is the big one, the final, ultimate, completely unavoidable messenger. And the fifth messenger is a dead body. Death itself. The story is pretty graphic about it, swollen, discolored. It's meant to be a shock to the system. Seeing a corpse is the most direct, in-your-face reminder that this life ends. It's non-negotiable. Our time here is limited and the clock is seriously running out.
And what does the person say for the final time? You guessed it. "I saw, venerable sir, but because of negligence I was heedless." After admitting this 5 times in a row, after acknowledging every single warning and admitting they just didn't pay attention, well, the interrogation is over.
So now we get to the price of negligence, a verdict on personal responsibility. All the excuses have run out. And now King Yama delivers his verdict. And what he says, man, it cuts right to the absolute core of the Buddha's entire teaching. He asks who is to blame, and he makes it crystal clear. It's not your mom, it's not your dad, not your brothers or sisters, not your friends, not even the gods. No, you alone did this, and so you alone will experience the result. Wow, that is a powerful and, yeah, maybe even an uncomfortable lesson in what you might call radical personal accountability. Okay, so what happens next? Realms of suffering and the path to freedom. The text goes on to describe some pretty intense suffering in the hell realms, tying it directly back to those careless actions. But here's the thing, the story doesn't just end on that scary note. It really lays out a very clear choice for us. On one side, you have the heedless, a life of not paying attention, which leads to suffering. But on the other side, you have the mindful, a life of actually paying attention to these messengers, which leads to freedom. It's a fork in the road. And that's really the whole point, isn't it? The Buddha's goal here wasn't just to tell some scary story to make people behave. It was to share a really profound insight. The 5 messengers have already appeared in your life. We've all seen them. So the real question is, what will you do now? Because these warnings, they're not threats. They're actually opportunities. Opportunities to wake up and live a better, more meaningful life, starting right here, right now. And that choice, well, that choice is entirely up to us.